Welcome to the Super Bad All Day Long Show. I'm so excited to be with you guys. This is a very special show that we're doing every Wednesday at noon. And you are going to be so totally impacted by this masterclass. This masterclass is specifically designed to bring to you ideas, guests, valuable lessons that will help you become more super bad all day long. It started with the premise that it's important to build and develop your courage, to build your confidence so that you can expand your choices. I'm so focused on the fact that you cannot give what you don't possess. If you don't have joy, you can't give joy. If you don't have energy, you can't give energy. And if you don't have money, right, you can't give money for sure. So I'm super excited about this journey that we're on, helping as many people as possible to become super bad all day long. So you know what I always say, if you share, if you care, share. If you care, share this broadcast with someone, because this is one I'm very excited about, very excited. You know, we've been talking about fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with yourself, LY, and I'll tell you about LY, who's sitting next to me in just a second. But we're talking about falling in love with you. It's October, it's the new season, falling in love with you, and this is our continuation of our series. You know, we started the series with, this series is about inspire, invest, and invite. We talked first about inspire, that you cannot inspire others if you're not inspired yourself. So how do you learn to inspire others? And how do you keep yourself inspired? And then we talked about invest. When you invest in yourself, right?
Absolutely.
You automatically invest in others. And oh my gosh, wait till you hear, wait till you hear. But when you invest in yourself, you automatically invest in others. And now we're talking about invite. We're so excited about learning how to invite people. You know, in order for you to be super bad all day long, you have to be able to invite others into your dream.
Absolutely.
Into your vision, into your mission. And it may not be their mission at first, but your vision can cause others to ignite their mission. So we're going to talk about inviting, and today I'm excited to introduce you to my friend. You know, I'm not always going to have friends in my masterclass, but this time I really do get to have someone who, because of her mission, because of her vision, because of her investment, and because of her invitation to me to be a part of her vision, we also became very close friends. I'm going to have LY introduce herself to you, but I want to tell you that, you guys, you never know what might happen. We were invited, Ken and I were invited to an event held by our friend Kyle Hutchison of Hutchison's Design Group. And we were invited to a function in Washington, D.C. And it's a little bit of a haul from Baltimore. Interesting enough that we used to live in Ellicott City. Isn't that funny? We didn't know each other in Ellicott City. But anyway, we went down there, and while we were there, Ken was talking to LY and a friend, and I was talking to Kyle, and all of a sudden, LY was telling Ken about domestic violence, and he looked at her and he says, well, you need to talk to my wife, because she dealt with that. So we instantly started talking and became friends, and she's brought me up to Harvard University again. You know, you guys know I'm a graduate of Harvard Business School, so to go back to Harvard University and work with a room full of amazing, super bad all day long women and men who are making a difference about domestic violence. This is big. You guys, September, October, November, December, January, February, I can go over every single month, where every single month needs to be recognized at a time when people are touched with domestic violence. However, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I'm a victim of domestic violence. And so this is very much on my heart. I don't take anything away from the importance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You know, we share two major fronts in the month of October. But this particular show is driven by the super badness of L.Y. Marlowe and her amazing organization, Saving Promise, and the fact that you are one incredible super bad all day long person for real. So tell them about Saving Promise, and tell them about why we're here today, because we have a campaign that you're going to want to be a part of.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
You just touch me with that.
Thank
you know, that friendship and that empowerment and that uplifting, because Saving Promise is an organization that I founded This year we're celebrating our 11th year. Promise is now 11 years old.
Yes.
And is inspired by 5 generations of mothers and daughters in my family that suffered and survived over 60 plus years of domestic violence. And it would be my daughter's little girl named Promise
Yes.
that became the 5th generation when my daughter was almost strangled and killed for the second time while Promise lay on the bed beside her at 6 months old. So I would find the gumption
Yeah. Yeah.
to eventually walk away from a 20 plus year corporate career
Yeah.
to dedicate my life to launching Saving Promise because I knew I needed to do something.
You guys, I want to pause for a second because her story is so impactful and it reflects on so many. But I want to pause on a second because I loved a lot about everything this, but Saving Promise, the name Saving Promise, your granddaughter's name Promise, to me is God's message in so many ways. And then Saving Promise allows us to remember this organization. I think there's something impactful that's just as small as branding it in such a way that you remember it and you remember why it is so important. And then I don't want any of you to miss 5 generations.
5 generations.
60 years.
More than 60 years of domestic violence in one family.
In one family.
In one family. And you know, the number one question that people often ask me is, you know, LY, how is that even possible, even conceivable?
Right.
Of 5 generations, mother to daughter, mother to daughter, mother to daughter, mother to daughter.
Again and again and again and again over many people, yes.
And it's possible that I've come to understand, and I can dissect it down to one word.
Okay.
Silence. Silence.
Yeah.
My grandmother didn't talk to my mother. My mother didn't talk to me. And I'm not ashamed to say that I did not talk to my daughter.
Yeah.
Not until Promise lay on that bed beside her, and now her life was in jeopardy.
Wow.
And that's how issues like this perpetuate in our families, in our communities.
Right. Well, you know what? When you said I'm not ashamed, because you chose not to be ashamed, you then broke the silence.
Yes.
So, you know, tell them the number that we talked about. We've talked about this several times, but the number of women that are affected.
The number of women that are affected, and I'm going to use an example of what's in this room right now. There
Yes.
are 3 women in this room. You can't see the third one, but she's just as beautiful. Of the 3 women in this room, 1 in 3 women known that have been reported are victims of domestic violence. We know at minimum there are 2 of us because it's you and I.
Right. Right.
But is more likely there's 2 or more out of 3.
Right.
Because
known. Reported.
Right.
Right.
And much of which goes unreported most of the time, right? Because of shame and silence and what happened in my family.
Right.
And so that's something that I think that is something that we just need to be still for a minute. Just be still for a minute and really think about what that means.
Right.
That means that the colleague that sits next to you or the friend that you're sitting out having lunch with one day or
the lady at the grocery store.
The lady at the grocery store, you know, your sister, your aunt, your cousin.
Every barbecue, every family reunion, every Thanksgiving dinner that we're getting ready to want. And then 1 out of every 3 has reported domestic violence.
Has reported domestic violence that we know of.
Right.
And so the next time you're amongst women, and there are 3 of you, no matter how we look on the outside, there's a woman sitting there, standing there, hurting on the inside.
Right. You know, one of the stories that I've told over and over again, and you've asked me to tell when I was at Harvard is, you know, I was building my Mary Kay business for at least 8 years before I decided to not let the shame silence me. And when I said it on a stage, so many women just looked forward. They didn't look to the left or the right, but their eyes felt up with water from tears that they were holding back. And that's when I knew that it was important for me to share over and over. Not that I knew what to do about it, but because I was still in the fight of my own. I was still dealing with me getting out of my situation. So I just embraced this so much, this journey. Okay, so tell them a little bit about how you decided to take this on.
I decided literally the next day after I got my daughter and Promise to safety. And you mentioned the significance of the name. And that name wasn't just one that I pulled out of the air. It actually was words that I wrote in a letter to Oprah. The morning after, it was August 25th, 2007. I'll never forget that date. I wrote a letter and I said, last night my daughter was strangled, almost killed. I told her the story about the 4 generations. And then I said, now here's promise. And I said in that letter, Oprah, if you cannot help me save my daughter, please, Oprah, help me save Promise. And that's where the name Saving Promise came from.
Wow.
And it literally, in that moment, was an instant feeling. I didn't know how it would evolve. I didn't know where I was going to, because when you're in it, you don't know it.
Right, exactly. You guys, that is a part of the Super Bad All Day Long journey, is you don't know where it's going to go, but she's telling you her passion, her intention, and her one step in front of the next step,
That's
in front
all
of the
it
next
took.
step.
I didn't know that Saving Promise would eventually grow into a national organization.
Right.
With partnerships like with the Harvard School of Public Health, with the CDC, with others, and so many extraordinary people like you, Gloria.
Thank you.
You know, that evening when we were at that gala, and Ken introduced me to you, you didn't have to take the time, and since then, that's been a few years, been one of my greatest advocates and ambassadors and supporters. Because the thing that resonated for you was not the Saving Promise story, there's significance behind that name, but the promise for your own story and your family. Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because when you started talking about generational, and I was like, oh, that's okay. And then I went to Harvard and I presented, and it hit me in that room, in that moment, in front of all those people. I'm like, oh my gosh, my daughter has just walked through something very, very challenging of that same decision, and she'll tell her own story, but I do tell the stories because she tells a story about how she was affected, and so that it became generational, and I'm a product of that, and so that is it really resonated with me, the fact that you would walk strong as we do this master class with each one of you, as you walk strong. LY tells a story about, because her passion was so deep, tell them about what you did when you took a step in a bad direction.
So my bad direction was I would get the courage. Like one of the words you said today was courage.
Yes.
And commitment.
Right. Courage, confidence, and then choices. Yes.
So I would first have the courage. To eventually, and I don't want it to sound like I woke up the next day and I went in and quit my job. That would come over a little bit of time. And over that time, my courage would just enhance and build from there.
And that's a step, you guys. It didn't just happen overnight. It didn't just wake up and bam. It was working on her.
It was working, absolutely. And then I found the commitment. To step away. To step out of that comfort zone, because I tell you that 6+ figure salary. I was with IBM at the time. Had a wonderful corporate career, MBA as well. Worked very hard. 16 years of night school. When online didn't exist.
No online. In line.
I was in line in those classes every night for 16 years to earn 3 degrees. So that was a big choice. That's the third thing. After the commitment was a big choice. To step away from what my comfort zone was. From knowing that paycheck was going to be there on the 1st and the 15th. And that was something I knew I could do. I didn't know anything about nonprofits, building a nonprofit, and absolutely nothing about domestic violence except what I saw in my family, but not how to become a public voice and come up with a vision.
Okay, so there's so much there, because when I sat with her in Washington, D.C., at the Senator's Building, listening to the CDC talk about the statistics because of your vision, because you invited people into your vision. Tell a little bit about how you chose to invite people into your vision, because you've had to really push through some doors on a topic that affects everybody.
Yes, push through some doors, kick in some doors, and knock down some doors. Because, you know, we have Harvard, for example. We have partners like the CDC. You just mentioned when you were at the Senate building, we had early this year a congressional briefing that you were part of.
That was amazing.
You've been to Harvard for roundtables that we've had, and around that room were major corporate executives from
Major.
global corporations
Yes, yes.
like the NFL
Right.
and Mary Kay, obviously,
right.
you know,
Bank of America.
Bank of America, major, and we're talking top of the line.
Right.
corporate
The executives. The executives, executive
yeah.
team, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how I get the Harvards and those corporations and other relationships that we built over the years is I shared my story.
right,
I wrote a letter.
right.
I put together an amazing board of board leaders on our
Right.
board that I wrote a personal letter to each one of them and asked them. That's all it takes is a step. People care. People want to get involved.
People care.
Yeah, people care. They want
Yeah.
to get involved. And so there would, yes, there's some door knocking
Right.
and some door kicking in or
Right.
whatever. But when you believe in your vision and you
Yeah.
believe in yourself,
Right.
and you believe that no matter what it is, mine was a nonprofit, starting
Right.
a nonprofit.
Right.
Yours might be wanting to start your own Mary Kay.
Right.
line,
That's right. That's right.
Or it might be you want to start a school for kids.
Right.
Or it might,
I heard this woman who has a whole business on doodling.
Yeah.
She just loves to doodle. So she
Whatever
spent the
that
whole
passion
business
is.
out of doodling.
Doodling. Yeah.
Now, you know I can't even draw a straight line, but she can doodle. And that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. Okay, so this is what I want to make sure that we don't miss anybody, is I am not afraid to ask. You have a campaign that I absolutely love. And I know what the Glow Nation can do is make a difference. So tell them a little bit about the campaign.
So this year we launched a groundbreaking initiative that's entitled Don't Just Give a Damn. And what's meant by that, in a time of so much visibility and so much noise right now
Right.
around domestic and sexual violence. I mean, we've all just tuned out of the Kavanaugh's hearings.
yes,
You know, there's
yes.
the amazing movement of Me
Right,
Too out there right,
right,
now.
amazing.
So many women coming forward,
Right.
and men,
Right.
to express what they believe in about these issues, domestic and sexual
Right.
violence. And with all of that extraordinary momentum, that's wonderful, but nothing can move forward if people don't take action.
Right.
So we came up with a campaign called Don't Just Give a Damn. We all know we give a damn. We
Right.
all know we care.
Right.
Do something.
Right.
Take action.
Right.
And action can be something very small or
Right.
large. It could
Right.
be simply, I'm going to talk to my daughter about
Right.
it or my son about it.
Right.
I'm going to teach my students about
Right.
it. I'm going to have lunch with a colleague that I see every single day sitting
Right.
next to me with her head down because she has scars on her face. And no one has the courage
Right. That's
to
right.
ask her.
That's right. That's
right?
right. Right.
So-
Absolutely.
Or I can volunteer at a shelter.
I mean, there's so many things that you can do, big and small. And the bottom line is that everybody can do something. And you know, I always tell the story that the first time I put any kind of makeup on my face was because I was covering up a black eye on my very first day at Harvard Business School as a student. And so I have my piece of paper because we're all going to make our piece of paper. And we're all going to take a piece of paper like this,
Yep.
right? And it says, I don't just give a damn, I pay attention. So I'm going to put down here, I pay. You know, I always talk about pay attention so that you can pay yourself. But this time I'm going to pay attention, pay myself, because I want to be able to pay to Saving Promise.
Thank you.
And
yes.
it makes a difference. I want to pay attention, and I choose to be transparent in my story. Because you said something that, transparent, Lord spelling, that's so funny. I choose to be transparent because the more the story is told, the more we feed into other people
Yeah.
to allow them to tell their story.
Absolutely.
And build
And that's
Saving
what
Promise.
we're asking people to do.
Yes.
To do three things.
Yes.
One, take the pledge. This is a pledge.
Pledge.
I don't just give a damn. I X. Whatever your X is.
Right,
I talk
right.
to my daughter about
Right,
it.
right, right.
Then you're just going to take a selfie of yourself.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Simply take a selfie and send that picture to Don't Just Give a Damn at savingpromise.org.
Right.
And I think you're going to post it on
I am. It's going to be
Yes.
in your link.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't just give a damn at savingpromise.org.
Right.
We want to build a community of people taking
Okay,
action.
take our selfie.
We're taking our selfies.
Uh-oh, it's got a timer on it. Okay, good. We got that.
Lovely.
Okay. And then the third thing?
And the second thing is to give $1.
Okay.
Because we want to be able to continue to expand these types of campaigns, but more importantly, put forward progressive programs to help continue to raise awareness and particularly target the demographic that's most at risk.
Okay.
Children, adolescents, and young adults.
Okay.
And then thirdly, share with your friends.
Okay.
Ask your friends. There's a link that we'll post about the Don't Just Give a Damn campaign with the website. Share it with your friends and ask them to take a pledge.
Right.
You know how movements are built and you know how action makes transformed lives?
Right.
Is when one person take one action and that one action culminates in more people taking similar types of actions or whatever action.
Right.
That's how we change issues like domestic violence. Because if we have the power to say, I don't just give a damn, I X, whatever that X is.
Right.
And we have the power to say, I'm going to give $1. We're only asking people to give $1.
$1.
$1,
you guys.
that's it.
Can you imagine what the Glow Nation can do? And you know, we were talking that this is the 11th anniversary of the Saving Promise organization, and it's Promise's 11th birthday. So I know I go out on a limb. So there's $1, or there's $11, or there's $111. I just don't want to ask you guys to just do $1 if you feel led to $11, or if you feel led to $111. I want to make sure that we do all three, though. I want to make sure that you take the picture and that you tag LY and myself in the picture so that I know. We'll go back. Both of us will go back and look at the comments. So be bold enough to tell your story or tell us how this has affected you in becoming Superbad all day long, because I promise you that your comment will be read by many people, and then to share that with as many people as possible. So take the picture, take the pledge. Right?
Yep.
Donate.
$1. Yep.
And then share.
And share.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. And we're going to take all of those pledges and we're building a community of pledges on Instagram.
Oh.
So we're taking all of those and we're trying to build a community, and then we're pushing it out there for other people, hopefully to be inspired.
Yes.
To take a pledge about what they're going to do. What is your small I don't just give a damn I X? What is your small X?
Right.
And it could just be having a 15-minute conversation with someone.
Right.
That's how we make changes to public health issues like this.
Right. You know, when you have a master class with someone who believes that you can change the world, that's a world-changing situation. When you deal with a Harvard University School of Public Health, that means you're bold enough to change the world, not just the community, not just in America. This is a world-affected situation that needs to be impacted. And then you invite everybody here to make a difference. When we talk about being inspired, when we talk about invest, and we talk about invite, this is truly about falling in love with yourself as we continue this Superbad all day long masterclass. And I learned so much. I learned so much. So I know that you guys learn so much on this. And so as we all think about, I'm going to take a step in a bad direction, because you got to take a step in the bad direction to be super bad all day long. And I want you guys seriously to push this out. Can you imagine what a difference we could all make with $1?
Yeah.
With one picture on Instagram, with their little or large X, and then doing something that makes a difference, you guys. The pledge, the share, the commitment will make such a difference, and that we all can make a difference. And you guys continue to tune in next week at Superbad All Day Long. Every Wednesday at noon, we'll have a master class. Very, very glad to have you and Hi Instagram on with us. I want to make sure I covered everything. Yes, everything. Oh my gosh. Anything else you want to end with? Anything at all?
I just want to thank you.
Yes.
And I thank Glow Nation for being supportive. Wouldn't it be wonderful for Glow Nation to lead the way?
Yes.
To help other communities. This community of women and men that are following you can help other communities. Can be the lead in that. You know? Just help us save Promise. And I'm not talking about my sweet little brown baby.
Right.
I'm talking about the promise for us all.
Right.
Because this is a very serious public health issue.
Right.
And we can all make a difference.
Yeah, and I loved what you said too. You said, now it's in the know. It's a lot of conversation about it. And we must all be careful that we don't become numb to it.
Yes.
That we stay.
Or that we're too busy to take. It literally will take you 2 minutes, and that paper that you used is just a regular 11 line.
Yeah.
You know, write it on there.
Right.
Take a snappy,
Send it.
forward, send it, done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Done. Yeah.
And the dollar is the link on your website. I
Right.
mean, on your Facebook page.
Done.
Done.
Yeah.
It's very simple to go. In fact, you can text.
Wow,
it
okay.
To dollar to.
They can go right on
we'll
the website.
Post it. Yep.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
be-
you
yeah.
can text it.
Right.
And boom, and it's done by yourself.
And you guys know how you operate. You go to your girlfriend and say, you and you and you and you, and then each one of you go find 5 people, and then each one of you go
Yeah.
find people, and then each one of you go find people, and that's where a movement starts.
Yes.
And every time that you ask them, you better say to them, if you're talking about me, #GlowNation. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.